Good afternoon to one and all present here. Respected Principal, Sister Jenny, all the delegatories and other co-workers. A very charismatic greet to each one of you. Today, we all have gathered here for our 5th in-house training, and I am very happy to welcome Ms. Jayashree Khalko to be the resource person for this session. To begin with the session, I would like to invite our principal, Sister Jenny, for her open remarks. Please, Sister.
Good afternoon, teachers. Now I think we all of us are aware of the new education policy, and most of you have attended the training or input sessions on this topic. And the coming days we are asked to practice in our timetable or in our syllabus this new education policy. So I welcome Ms. Jayashree to put forward her opinions and ideas for the new education policy. Wish you all the best.
Education is the manifestation of perfection present already in a man, said by Swami Vivekananda. A very good afternoon to everyone present here. I would like to take this moment to express my deepest gratitude to our school principal, Sister Jenny, and STLC, Ms. Anjali Kumari, for giving me this golden opportunity to share my insight about National Education Policy 2020. Thank you, ma'am. My dear co-workers, I, Jayashree Khalko, TGT Political Science, warmly welcomes all of you to the in-house session on the topic National Education Policy 2020. In July 2020, Government of India proudly launched National Education Policy 2020 to replace the old National Education Policy which was launched in the year 1986. This new NEP was formulated to meet the evolving needs of the new age learning skill, including digital education. National Education Policy 2020 was released to empower the country's youth and to make them future ready, thereby transforming India as a hub for the world's biggest skilled manpower. The policy emphasized on holistic development of India's youth with a focus on skill development, which is the key element in achieving our Honorable Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi's vision of self-reliant India. Now let's start this webinar with a very basic question. What is education? Can anyone share their views upon this question? Art of learning, yes ma'am. Anyone else?
All-round development of the child.
All-round development, holistic development. Anyone? Alright. Education can be termed as gem. Now, what is gem? Gem is a precious stone which adds beauty to our outer appearance. In the similar manner, this education is also a gem which adds beauty and perfection to our personality. Virtue. Education will be called as virtue. Now, what is virtue? Virtue is the moral behavior that we have learned by seeing our elders, teachers and parents. This virtue decorates the character of individual. In the similar manner, education also is a virtue. It makes us sparkle in this civilized world. Education is a prized possession. Now, what is prized possession? It is something which we value very deeply above everything else. Now, just remember a scenario where you misplace one of your certificate. what would be your reaction? Can anyone share that? What will be the reaction if you misplaced your certificates?
Anxious.
Yes, ma'am?
You will be anxious.
Yes, anxious. Yes, lost and worried. So, it is this moment only when we realize that education is very much prized to us. It is very big possession or the something which we value mostly in our life. So, education is like a prized possession. Why education can be called as gem, virtue and prized possession? Because it gives us all a unique identity. Whatever we are today, it is because of this education only. It is this education which tells us what is good or bad for us. It is this education only which tells us what is right or wrong. And it is this education only which shows us the right path where we have to walk. It is like a guideline for us, a torch for everyone's life. This is what education means to everyone. Now, the government of India, they keep on bringing many policies for us. In regular interval, the policies keeps on coming. So, for the progress of Indian education system, the national education policy is brought out after every few decades. Now, what is this education policy is for us? It is like a comprehensive guideline to progress the India's education system. The new policies are always brought out to replace the old policy which is outdated for the present situation. Now let's see the historical overview of this national education that the government has brought out. According to the need of the people, according to the present situation, the Indian government has brought three major NEP. First one is in the year 1968. After 20 years, in 1986, the second NEP was brought out, and after 34 years, the third NEP was launched. Now let's see some highlights of all the major NEP. First, in National Education Policy 1986. It is the, 1968. It is the first education policy. The aim of this policy was to have changes, rearrangement in the education system. Structural changes were required. Now in British India, the Indian education system was very much westernized. English was used as a medium of instruction. Western science was implemented in the Indian school. Those who could give the school fees, only they were admitted in the schools. So, to make the Indian education system more Indianized, the basic structural changes was required. Hence, the radical changes rearrangement was seen through the first NEP. Now, the second aim is the equal education. Only a selected social group were admitted to the school, like your royal families, the nobles, the middle class who would be able to pay the fees. Only those section people can get the education. So, this education should be given to every sections of the people. For that, the first NEP aimed at for equal education. Now, first NEP was promoted through primary education and secondary education to strengthen the base of the education of the learners, where the target of first NEP. Now, this was done to make the people of India realize what is the significance of education in one's life. to make the Indians realize the importance of education in our life. That was the main target of first NEP. Now, the second NEP was launched in the year 1986, and the aim of this second NEP is also same as of the first NEP. It was because after the launching of the first NEP, the India's literacy rate was only 39%. Despite having a formative, comprehensive guideline, still the literacy rate was very low. Hence, the Indian government went for the same aim, that is your equal education. Now, in this time, the government targeted the particular social group which were actually lacking behind in terms of education, and hence they promoted the minority education, your women section, scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, backward classes. They were targeted in this second NEP. And one more promotion was the reducing of the school dropout rate. Now there is variety of reason why a particular student leave the school in between without completing their education. We cannot even go through those reasons. So to reduce the dropout rate, many schemes were brought by the government, like your Saksharta Abhiyan, midday meal, girls hostel scheme, Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan. Such kind of policies or schemes were brought, even the Operation Blackboard, just to reduce the school dropout. Next is the third NEP. Now this NEP was brought in the year 2020, and the aim of this NEP is competency-based learning. Now how this NEP would target the learners to be competent, or we can say, what is this competency-based learning? In this competency-based learning, the learner will demonstrate the knowledge and the skills that they have acquired through their education. The grading system, assessment system, academic report, even the method of instruction, everything would be learners-centric. Everything would be student-centric. Now this competency-based education or learning could be achieved through flexible curriculum. Now in this flexible curriculum, the hard or the rigid separation between the subjects art, commerce and science would be removed. There will be no separation between the three streams of the subject. Now let's move to some major highlights of the new NEP. Now NEP 1986 targeted 26.3% as the enrollment ratio to be achieved by the year 1820, whereas NEP 2020 made a bold, a brave movement by targeting the enrollment ratio up to 50% and to be achieved by the year 2035. To reach this target, the Indian government has made certain lucrative and attractive norms in this law. The first major change that the NEP 2020 made is the schooling system. New pedagogical plan is launched. Now in the NEP 1986, we had the format of 10 plus 2. In the first phase of the previous NEP, the learner would be admitted to the school from the primary or from the kindergarten, and to be promoted to the higher classes, they have to go through examination. And it was compulsory to clear that examination. The age group that is allotted was from 6 to 16. After completing the class 10, they would enter into plus 2, where the classes 11 and 12 were included, and in this plus 2 they would be introduced to the subjects which they will be studying in the higher education, in the universities and college. Now the age group that was allotted was 16 to 18. Now this pedagogical plan was completely rearranged into 4 stages of pedagogical system. Now the first stage is the foundational system or the foundational stage, which is also further subdivided into 2 phases. Now the first phase is of the 3 years, where the age group that is allotted is 3 to 6. Now in this first stage of foundational stage, the pupil will be entering to Anganwadi, Balwadi, preschool, play, school. And the focus would be on activating the sensory organs of the learner. The method that will be used to impart the education would be play-way method or activity-based method. The second phase of the foundational stage is of 2 years. Age group that is allotted is 6 to 8, and the classes which is included is 1 to 2. Now, in this foundational stage, the focus of education would be development of language skill. Your ECCE would be the target or the method of education would be there. Early childhood care education. A comfortable zone would be created for the learner so that they will be relaxed when they come to school. There should not be any hard forcement when the parents bring the children to the school. None of the learner should cry when their parents drop off to them in the school. So to make the school a comfortable zone, your ECCE is encouraged in the foundational stage. Now next is the preparatory stage, and it is of 3 years. The age group which is allotted is 8 to 11, and the classes are 3 to 5. Now in this preparatory stage, the education will not be stopped, or the new type of education will be started. The knowledge will be a continuous from the development or for the foundational stage. So in the foundational, the focus was in the developing of the linguistic skill. So the same focus would be done in the preparatory stage. The linguistic skill would be the focal point along with the numeracy skill. Now it is in this preparatory stage only that the learners will be exposed to classroom interaction, and they will be having the element of discovery. The activity-based knowledge would be given to the learners. They will be acknowledging they will be acquiring the knowledge on their own through the activity. Next stage is the middle. Now this is also of the 3 years. The age group that is allotted is 11 to 14, and classes 6 to 8. Now in this middle stage, major change would be seen in the education system. The critical learning will be the focal point of the middle stage. The learners will be exposed to the experiential learning in the subject like science, mathematics, social science, arts, humanity. Next is the secondary stage. This is also of the 4 years. The secondary stage is also subdivided into 2 phases, just like the foundational stage. The first stage of the secondary stage is of 2 years, which include classes 9 to 10, and the second phase include classes 11 to 12. The age group that is allotted for the secondary stage is 14 to 18. Now, in this secondary stage, multidisciplinary system would be imposed. The learners will have variety of combination of subjects, and they will be free to choose as per as their skill and interest. It is in this secondary stage only that the learner will be forced to have a flexible thinking process. They will be forced to acquire knowledge through critical thinking. So this is the new pedagogical plan that we will be following in the coming future. 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. Now next is the exam pattern. Now the NEP 2020 also makes certain changes in the exam. Now whenever the exam comes, the learners, they become very nervous. They do complain that I have studied everything, but the moment I'm there, or the moment I see the question paper, I completely forget that. I'm unable to write because I forget one word. These type of excuse they do make when they do not score good marks. So what is this? This is the exam stress that they have to face. Because of this exam stress, they are unable to perform well. So to reduce this exam stress, NEP 2020 had made major changes in the exam pattern. Instead of having the exams or the test regularly, in the certain classes, after completing certain stage, the exams will be taken. When they have completed the foundational stage, whatever knowledge they have acquired, that will be put to test when they reach to class 3. When they have completed their preparatory stage, whatever they have acquired will be put to test in class 5. And again, whatever they have acquired in the middle stage, they will be put to class 8. Then in class 10 and 12, they will be writing the board examination. Now since we are in the topic of board examination, let's see what changes the government has made in the pattern of board examination. In NEP 1986, your board examination was conducted only once a year. Students were in the immense pressure to perform well. Sometimes they were unable to perform well. So they have to wait for 1 year to rewrite the exam to get better marks. Seeing the level of the stress, now through NEP 2020, the board examination will be conducted twice a year. The exams will be in the 2-phase. Term 1, where the objective questions will be asked for a particular subject. Now these objective questions will be targeted on the knowledge of the learners, how much they know about a particular subject. And the term 2 will have the subjective question where the understanding of a particular subject will be put to test. Now with the 2 terms, the students will be more relaxed before giving the exam. They knew that if they are unable to perform well in term 1, at least they have second chance, that is in term 2. This will enhance the performance level of the learner in the coming years. Now next is the streams. In NEP 1986, there was a rigid separation between the subject of arts, commerce and science. The students who have taken the commerce stream, they cannot opt for the subject coming from science stream. There was no combination of the subject, but this NEP 2020 is promoting the integrated stream where all the streams, science, commerce and humanities are combined. Student according to their skill, according to their interest can take any of the subject from any of the stream. The one of the topic which makes the NEP 2020 a very hot topic for discussion in the present time is the vocational education. Now why this vocational education was added in the norms of NEP 2020? It is because India's population is youthful. 64% of India's population is from 15 to 59 years of age group. Now this is a working age group, and it is one of the pressing need that the India should provide a skilled manpower. To fulfill this requirement, the vocational education has been included in NEP 2020. Now, vocational education will be given in the middle stage, that is from class 6 to 8. Now, how this vocational education will be given to the learners? As a teacher, we are hardly get any time to complete our syllabus within 1 year. Now, how we are going to include vocational training also? So, vocational education will not be separated from the curriculum. It will be the part of the curriculum. Learning and working ability will go side by side, and together they will teach the learners to acquire the life skills. The life skills which is going to be very, very important in their future. So this is the plan through which they can include the vocational training. Now let's move to one of the important part of NEP. Since we are making so many changes in the education system, throughout the schooling system is being rearranged. So the change will also be seen in the report card. Now earlier the report card was having two sides. One side where all the marks that the learner has acquired in the exam is written, and another side would be your curricular activities or the discipline area and the remark of the teacher. But with NEP 2020, the report card, instead of having two sides, it will be the 360-degree report card. Now in this 360-degree report card, the entire report card will be divided into several parts. Now the first part will be also getting the chance of showing the progress of the learners in the three domains. That is your cognitive, affective and psychomotor. The teacher's assessment will also be included in the report card. Teacher analyzing the learner, how they are behaving, what is their working ability in the class, whether they are showing the team spirit or they are showing more individuality in their work. It will all be put in the report card. The another part of the report card will be having the progressive that is made through the inquiry-based learning. That is your subject enrichment, the practicals that will take on, the project work that we gives to the learner. Then the quizzes, role play, portfolios, these are the curricular activities that we give to the learner and they do their performance. Now the most important part of this 360-degree report card is the self-assessment. The report card will be like a mirror to a learner. When they see, they will be able to imagine what type of person they are growing into. They will be able to know that in which part of their personality and character they have to progress, they have to change themselves. So that is one of the important clause of this 360-degree report card. Now when we put this 360-degree report card into reality, into practice, this is how the report card looks like. The report card will be made only in the one sheet. It will not have the two sides, so that the overall development of the learner could be viewed in a one look. This entire report card is divided into three parts. First part is having the post-scholastic area where your cognitive skills, the cognitive progress would be tabulated. This will also have your subject enrichment and the practical marks, which is your inquiry-based progress. The second part is co-scholastic activities where the students' participation in some competitions will be tabulated. The second part B is of physical education and the health care. So the psychomotor progress of the learner will be measured in this. And the third part is the discipline, which will check the effective progress of the learner. What type of character they are building, whether they are punctual, whether they are regular, whether they are wearing the correct uniform, everything would be mentioned in the discipline part. And the one of the major is the teacher's assessment that will be written in the through the remark, which would be playing a major role in learner's life. Now let's come to the outcome of the NEP 2020. What skills the learner will demonstrate after accepting or after receiving education through all these new norms. Now let's categorize what the learner after completing the 8th grade will show, what type of quality or the skills they will exhibit. Now the first is that they will be better in the soft skill. Now what is soft skill? Communication, creativity, writing skill, speaking skill. These all are the soft skills. Since they are acquiring the knowledge through activity, that's why they will be showing the better soft skill. Next, tech skills. From class 6 onward, coding is made compulsory through NEP 2020. The learners will not be afraid to use the present time technology. That's why they are going to be the tech-friendly learners. The human values, and they will show competency to any of the challenges that will come to their path. They will show the human values like kindness, honesty in their work. Next, they will show the respect to the country's unity as well as diversity. They will have a good understanding, good hold of their mother tongue. In the foundational and in the preparatory stage, the learners would be given the education through their mother tongue. The medium of instruction would be mother tongue. Hence, they will be able to have good grasp on their mother tongue. The learning that they will receive or the education they will receive is through activity based, which is going to be fun. The simple curriculum would be there, which will lead to the lesser number of the books. Simple curriculum will help the learner to understand the knowledge that they are getting in their school. A complex curriculum, a lengthy curriculum create difficulty for the certain learners, especially those who are having the lower IQ. Those whose understanding level is little bit lesser compared to the others, to the slow learners. For them, simple curriculum would be easier for them to acquire the knowledge. Now through NEP 2020, we are moving to bagless era. The weight of the school bag would be reduced. Now we have seen some of the learners, their heights are very small, but their bag size is bigger than their height or equal to their height. And to carry that school bag, they have to bend. Now that kind of load they are coming to the school, what knowledge they will acquire. So to reduce the weight of the bag, the simple curriculum with a lesser number of the books will be incorporated with NEP 2020. The learner will be they will not have any fear for the exam because the exam pattern has changed. Instead of having the exam every year, they will be having the exam at certain stage. When they have completed certain pedagogical stage, then only they will have the exam, reducing the stress of the exam, making them fearless to any kind of test. Now, the learner who has completed the 12th standard, what type of outcome they will demonstrate? The first, they will have the better knowledge of their own country, of India. Now we have seen and we will be seeing the changes in the books that the history of a particular region will be included in the syllabus book. Now, when we were studying in the social science about the history, we were studying history of India as a complete, but not now. In NEP 2020, the learner in the middle stage, they will be focusing more on the regional history. And from the regional history, when they enter the secondary stage, then they will compile all the historical events of the region to the national level. They will have the good hold of their country's history. They will be knowing about the national heroes which made India a glorified country. Next, they will be having knowledge of more than one Indian language. Your linguistic skills will be the focal point at the foundational stage and preparatory stage in NEP 2020, making them fluent in their language. They will also have the knowledge of the foreign language. Now, this is also one of the new steps that NEP 2020 has included. Inclusion of a knowledge of the foreign language. Before this, most of the school they opt for English language. But along with English, some other foreign language will also be included in the curriculum, so that the learners can become an international citizen. Next, they will be having the better all-round health development. Through NEP 2020, the health card would be maintained of every individual learner. In this health card, the nutrition level, the diet, the food that they take, or the health in which they have been growing, everything would be tabulated. Hence, enhancing their health also. Not only the mental health or the mental development of the learner, but also the physical development of the learners will also be assessed in the school. Since the 12th grader has already got the vocational education, they will be very much confident and they will have the high self-esteem. Just imagine, when you know certain skill, you are confident enough that any type of problem will come, I will be able to solve. Let me take an example of the teachers who know how to handle the present day technology. Don't you think you feel a little bit confident and your self-esteem is high? Yes or no? Those compared to the teachers who are not that friendly. So just imagine the learners who have got basic educational or vocational education in your gardening or the pottery or the metal work or the electric work, the coding. In these sectors, they will be getting the vocational education once they have received. And when with this skill, when they will go to the colleges and university, the confidence level will be very high. The self-esteem will be very high compared to others who do not have those skills. The one of the commonality which we see in both the 8th grader and the 12th grader is that they will not be dependent on the rote learning. They will never be dependent on the rote learning for acquiring any of the knowledge. And they will have the adaptive nature. Since they will be taught how to think, flexibility, the thinking level will be broadened in the middle and the secondary stage. That's why they'll be highly adaptable to any of the situation that comes in their life. Now let's understand the NEP 2020 better with a particular video. Now this video I have taken from the YouTube, your King Sirion, and it is directed by Portrait. So please take a look. Compare this video along with NEP 2020. Try to understand. So this NEP 2020 is just like the young or the baby donkey. This is what the NEP 2020 targets. Now, whatever we have learned, we will be teaching it to our young generation. But they are going to grasp it in their own style. No matter what we tell them, they are going to acquire the knowledge in their own style. We cannot stop them. When they receive the knowledge, receive the education through NEP 2020, any challenge that comes in their life, they'll be able to overcome it. That is what your competency-based learning is. The mother donkey was unable to cross over the deep gorge. Why? Because she has never been taught how to cross over. She was taught how to cross over the stone, the branches, but never the deep gorge. But the baby donkey was able to do it on its own. How? Because he learned what the mother had taught to him and he included and he did it in his own style. This is what the NEP 2020 target. That we will be teaching the present generation learner what we have learned, but we will be teaching them in their scenario. What is the present situation? According to that, we are going to teach to them. And for this major region, your NEP 2020 has been launched. Now let's come to the conclusion. When the learner has received the education from NEP 2020, they will be projecting India as one of the global knowledge superpower. India will call as a superpower in the terms of knowledge. The Indian citizen will be called as the true global citizen. How will we call as a true global citizen? When a foreigner comes to our country and when he greets us or speak our language, we feel very happy. We welcome him or her even more warmly than the others. The similar thing will happen to the Indian future learner. They are being knowledgeable with one of the foreign language because it is a part of the pedagogical plan. They will be knowing the international language and hence they will become an international citizen. They will be welcomed in the foreign countries for job or for any other purpose. The Indian citizen will be preferred in the foreign countries for the job than the citizens coming from the other countries. So that's how we will become the true global citizen. And finally, I would like to conclude my presentation with the quote that change is the ultimate result of all the true learning. Thank you very much for listening to me patiently.
I believe it was a wonderful session. Yes. Yeah. So, on behalf of all the participants, thank you, Ms. Jayashree, for giving the insight of National Education Policy. And I hope it will help us, enable us to bring some changes in the education system.